Hi, I'm Hunter, and I'd like to welcome you to this first installment of Affordable Wine Review. In this first installment, I'm not actually going to be reviewing any wine. This is an introductory video, and I'd like to tell you why I chose to make this channel and what it's going to be about. I am not a connoisseur. I am not a wine aficionado. I don't have any special skills in terms of wine. So, why me? Why this channel? It's very simple. I enjoy a glass of wine each day, usually with my dinner, and I'm not interested in the average very highbrow review that you see from many other wine reviewers. Wine is not my life. I do not live on a vineyard. I don't intend to, but I do enjoy wine and its many healthful benefits. And so I decided to create a channel where I would review affordable wines. And so there will be no wine that I review that costs more than $20. Now, that leaves me with literally hundreds and hundreds of possible wines to review. And I'm going to do it in a very conversational way. This channel is geared towards the everyman. Now that's a phrase, I mean every person, be they man or woman. But the average person who would like to pick up a bottle of wine on their way home and serve it with dinner and not spend $50 or $100 or more on a bottle of wine, but have a terrific wine to enjoy with their meal and the very many healthful benefits that go along with it. So that's the benchmark, is that if a bottle of wine costs more than $20, I won't review it. This is Affordable Wine Review. Now, having said that, I would like to also say that it is extremely good for your health. It is healthful to drink wine, or any alcoholic beverage for that matter, each day. Now that's a surprising and odd statement for you to hear somebody say. We're taught over and over again that alcoholism is one of the leading causes of death, one of the leading preventable causes of death in the world. And that may well be true. However, I have for the last several years made it a personal point of study to follow the medical industry with their latest reviews on healthful drinking. Now, what do I mean when I say healthful drinking? Well, when I say that, what I mean is 1 to 3 drinks a day, every day. And it doesn't really matter in terms of the alcohol that you ingest, whether that is hard spirits like vodka or whiskey or gin, or a beer, some sort of a malt, or wine. What does matter is how much of it that you drink. If it's wine, if that's going to be your alcohol of choice on a daily basis, and it should be daily, it should be relatively the same amount drunk every day. If that is going to be your choice, it is 1 to 3 drinks every day, and that is considered extremely healthful. Now, there may be some people who will object to that statement from me, and if you are objecting to that statement, it's because you have not done the research. You have not taken the time to do the study. And I would also like to say that up until just a few years ago, I was a teetotaler. And what that means is that I didn't drink. I didn't drink at all. I was a non-drinker. And what spurred me on to begin to drink was what I began to read in terms of the very, very healthful benefits of being a moderate drinker. Not an extremely light drinker, not a heavy drinker, not a teetotaler, but a moderate drinker. And in terms of wine, again, that is 1 to 3 glasses of wine a day. Personally, I drink about 1 glass of wine a day, normally with my dinner meal. And there are occasions where, on occasion, if I'm out with friends, I may have actually 2. But I generally don't go beyond that. I don't go beyond 2 glasses of wine a day. I could, because I'm 6 feet tall, I weigh 180 pounds. In my body type, a man can comfortably have 3 glasses of wine a day and remain within the parameters of that being very healthy for you. So I know that some people are going to question my saying that. And so I am going to read something to you now. This is perhaps a little laborious to listen to, and if you don't want to, simply turn off the video at this point and watch one of my reviews. But if you are interested in my being able to back up what I'm saying, I'm going to read something, and you'll see my eyes move away from the camera because I am going to be reading. It's too voluminous for me to have memorized. Alcohol and longevity. Moderate drinkers tend to live longer than those who either abstain or drink heavily. So right there, if you're a moderate drinker, you will lead a longer life. You will live longer simply by enjoying an alcoholic beverage every day. The National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism has found that the lowest death rate from all causes occurs at the level of 1 to 2 drinks each day. Drinking alcohol in moderation, 1 to 2 drinks per day for women, and 2 to 4 drinks a day for men, that's where I basically came up with 1 to 3, because I'm averaging all the numbers together. This was found to reduce the risk of mortality significantly, according to meta-analysis of 34 studies of alcohol and total mortality among 1,015,835 men and women from around the world. That's a big study. That's a very big study, over 1 million people. An exhaustive review of all major heart disease studies, found that alcohol consumption is related to a total mortality in a U-shaped manner, where moderate consumers have a reduced total mortality compared with total non-consumers and heavy consumers. So again, if you're a heavy consumer or you're a non-consumer, you run the risk, whereas if you're a moderate consumer, you have a much, much lower risk. A Harvard study found that the risk of death from all causes to be 21 to 28% lower among men who drank alcohol moderately. All causes of mortality. That's an interesting thing. All causes of mortality. Harvard is a very reputable place to be getting a study done. And this is compared to compared to abstainers. A large-scale study in China found that middle-aged men who drank moderately had a nearly 20% lower overall mortality rate compared with abstainers. A Harvard Nurses' Health study of over 85,000 women found a reduced mortality among moderate drinkers. A British analysis of 12,000 male physicians found that moderate drinkers had the lowest risk of death from all causes during a 13-year study. A 13-year study. That's an extremely long and thorough study. That's basically 1,000 people a year that they were studying for 13 years. A large study of 88,000 people conducted over a period of 10 years found that moderate drinkers were about 27% less likely to die during that period than were either abstainers or heavy drinkers. The superior longevity was largely due to a reduction of such diseases as coronary heart disease, cancer, and respiratory diseases. A 12-year-long study of 200,000 men found that subjects who consumed alcohol in moderation were less likely to die during that period than those who abstained from alcohol completely. A study of more than 40,000 people by the Cancer Research Center of Honolulu found that persons with moderate alcohol intake appeared to have a significantly lower risk of dying than non-drinkers. An analysis of 89,299 men in the Physicians' Health Study over a period of 5.5 years found that those who drank alcohol in moderation tend to live longer than those who either abstain or drink heavily. An Italian study of 1,536 men, ages 45 to 65, found that 2 years of life were gained by moderate drinkers. Moderate in this study meaning 1 to 4 drinks a day, compared with heavy or abstainers. Now again, I said 1 to 3, I am averaging the numbers. I drink 1 a day. A study of 2,487 adults, aged 70 to 79 years, this is an elder study, who were followed for an average period of 5.5 years, it was found that the cause of mortality was significantly lower in light to moderate drinkers than in abstainers or occasional drinkers, those who drank less than 1 drink per week. Again, it's drinking every day, 7 days a week, about the same amount and moderately. A large prospective study found that older men consuming up to about 3 drinks a day and older women consuming 1 to 2 drinks per day had a dramatically lower risk of dying than did non-drinkers. A large study found that moderate drinkers, even after controlling for or adjusting for numerous other factors, maintain their high longevity or life survival advantage over alcoholics or non-drinkers. A Danish study of about 12,000 men and women over a period of 20 years, it's a very long study, found that abstaining from moderate alcohol consumption is a health longevity risk factor. It's a risk not to drink. Choosing not to drink alcohol increases the risk of illness, disease, and death. That's a 20-year study of 12,000 men and women. A 14-year study of nearly 3,000 residents of Australia found that abstainers were twice as likely to enter a nursing home as people who were moderate drinkers. Drinkers also spent less time in hospitals and were less likely to die during the period of the study. I could go on and on. There are numerous studies here, and you really don't want me to read all of them. I don't know how many people are actually still listening to me right now, but clearly, absolutely clearly, the medical evidence is in. You will live longer, you will have less stress in your life because having a drink a day does help you manage your stress. We lead very stressful lives. We live in a very fast-paced time in history. Having a nice drink at the end of the evening definitely helps relax a little bit. It helps you unwind. It helps with digestion. Helps you enjoy a meal. Cleanses your palate if you're really into your food. It will make you a healthier person. You will live longer. You will live happier. Don't overdrink. Don't become an alcoholic. Don't have problems with the amount that you drink. If you're a man and you keep it between 1 and 3 drinks a day, the studies say 1 and 4, I say 1 and 3. If you keep it within 1 and 3 drinks a day, and if you're a woman and you keep it within 1 and 2 drinks a day, you'll be absolutely fine. You won't have a drinking problem, and as a matter of fact, you will live longer. You will have far less health problems. Okay, so that was the reason for why I'm doing these videos, why this channel exists. There's the background, and again, I'm not an expert, but I will try and teach you what I do know. I am well read, I like to read, I like to learn, and I'm interested in learning from my viewers as well. Okay, so that's the first video. Thank you very much, and I will be reviewing wines for you soon. Welcome to Affordable Wine Review.